In today's video, we are going to be talking about blockchain technology, especially as it relates to Web3. In the last video I dropped, we talked about Web3 and what Web3 is all about. But we cannot fully dive into the whole concept of Web3 without talking about blockchain technology, because blockchain is the core on which Web3 is built. So at the end of this video, you are going to understand the fundamentals of blockchain technology, how blockchain technology works, its roles in Web3, and its benefits. So if you have previously not watched the video on Web3, you can check the top of your screen here. I've pinned that video there so you can go and first of all understand what Web3 is all about. Then you come here to now watch what blockchain technology is. So stick with me as we dive in on this journey. Blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions across a network of computers, and it's distributed database that allows for secure, transparent, and tamper-proof transactions. Now, if you don't understand that big grammar right there, let me break down to you in the simplest form. When you talk about blockchain technology, it is all about a ledger or something that keeps record. So let's say, for instance, you have an organization and then you have a book that keeps record of all the activities of the organization. So if you go out today, you go out tomorrow, you go out next tomorrow, that book, somebody will have to pen down, record everything or every activities or all money collected. The person will have to record it in that book for everybody to now view. It is now something that keeps record for the organization. And that is what blockchain technology does on the internet space. But the difference is that this time around, you cannot touch the blockchain. It is not like your normal book that you can carry and feel. It is not a soft copy. It is a software, something online that you cannot touch or feel. Now, again, you can take your pen any day and correct anything in the book. Let's say, for instance, you made a mistake or you want to do some alterations in what have been recorded. Maybe somebody wants to be corny and change some things or whatsoever. You can easily pick your pen and then correct those things. But on the blockchain, once a transaction or an information is recorded on the blockchain, there is absolutely nothing you can do to correct that. It is not possible currently. In fact, if it was possible, the amount of power it will require, and besides, since it is not a single book, it is not like the book that keeps record for your organization that is a single book that everybody will have to refer to that book whenever they want to check. On the blockchain, it is a network of computers all over the world, and all of them are keeping same record. So for you to correct one record on one computer, you have to look for ways to now correct all the records on the other computers, and it is going to take you massive amount of power if that was even possible for you to achieve in the first place. So no, anything that is recorded on the blockchain cannot be changed, and as such, it makes the blockchain very secure. So by now, you should have gotten the full concept or understand what blockchain is all about. And now we are now going to be talking about the fundamentals of blockchain. When you talk about the fundamentals of blockchain, there are basically 5 fundamentals. And the first one here is decentralized network. What this simply means is that it is a network of computers, or see it as nodes, that work together to validate and record transactions. Just as I explained, it is not a single computer. When you're talking about the blockchain, it is not like a single book in your organization. It is a network of computers that comes together to keep the record or validate all the transactions. And this is why it even makes it almost impossible for you to alter anything that has been recorded on the blockchain. The second fundamental here is that it is a distributed ledger. And what this simply means is that absolutely anyone has access to view this information at any given time, provided you have a computer. So if you want to check all the transactions that has ever happened on Bitcoin till date, you can simply go and check the blockchain, and you're going to see a record of all the transactions that has ever happened since the creation of Bitcoin. So nothing can tamper with that proof. It is always there for anybody to view, and almost anyone has access to view it. The third fundamentals here is blocks. And when you talk of blocks, it is a group of transactions that are verified first of all, and then they are now added to the ledger. Then the fourth fundamental here is chains. And what this simply means is that it is a sequence of blocks, each linked to the previous one through cryptographic hashes. So let's say, for instance, a group of transactions comes together and is now recorded on the blockchain. Another group of transactions come together and is recorded on the blockchain again. Then another group, making third group, fourth group, fifth group. Each of these groups are connected. They are not separate. That is why it's even called blockchain. See it as a chain. You know how chain are entangled together. That is how it is. So this block of transactions, they are chained together and they are now recorded on the ledger. The last fundamental here is now consensus mechanism. This is simply a mechanism that ensures all nodes agree on the state of ledger, such as proof of work, which is formerly known as POW, or proof of stake, which is POS. For you to understand what proof of work is and proof of stake, I have to make an entire video on that, so we won't want to be diving much into the details of that. We just have to look at what these fundamentals are and then we'll move on to the next step. Now that we know the fundamentals of the blockchain, we now have to see how this blockchain works. The first thing here is recording of transactions. Whatever transactions that are carried out or made, they are recorded on the blockchain and it is known as blocks, or you can call it data. Each of these blocks is linked to the previous block through a unique code, and this code is called hash. Then the network now uses consensus mechanisms such as proof of stake or proof of work to agree on the state of the blockchain. And once this step is completed, the transaction becomes immutable. That is, nobody can change it. You can only add new blocks of transactions to this. And that is basically how the blockchain technology works. I'm sure there are more complex and deeper levels of this to read, but those ones are left for programmers. Let's just stick with the surface level understanding of how it works. Since we're talking about Web3, we will now see how the blockchain relates to Web3 and its benefits to Web3. And we are basically going to be looking at 5 roles of the blockchain to Web3. The first one here is decentralized data storage. And this basically allows decentralized storage of data, reducing the reliance on centralized authorities. Remember, in the last video on Web3, I talked about how all your data that are recorded on Facebook are controlled by a centralized authority known as the managers of Facebook. And any given time, government can request for this your data, or any external body can request for it, or they can even sell this your data to make profit off it. That is because they are the ones that is solely controlling this your data. But in Web3, since Web3 is on blockchain technology, there is no single or there is no centralized authority that is controlling your data. This your data is decentralized and recorded independently on the blockchain. So there is no single authority that can go and pick that your data and decide to sell it to anybody. Only you that have stored data there have access to that your data. It is not on a single or a centralized authority. The second role of the blockchain to Web3 is secure transactions. The blockchain uses cryptographic algorithm to ensure secure transactions and protect against tampering. And this again is a broad topic on its own, because for you to understand how blockchain secures transactions on Web3, you first of all have to understand in full details what cryptographic algorithm is and how it works. And that again, I'm going to be making a separate video for it. But for now, let us still stick with the basics. The third role of the blockchain to Web3 is transparency. Since the whole idea of the blockchain is just about recording transactions, keeping ledger or keeping recordings of all transactions that are made, it makes these transactions transparent. Just like the initial example I gave to you, if you want to view all the transactions that have ever been made on Bitcoin till date, you can still go and view it. So it is open to everyone. Absolutely everybody have access to it. The only thing you cannot do is to do alterations. It's not like in your organization where a single person has access to the book and the person has to bring the book that has the recordings for everybody should now glance through it. No, this time around it is recorded on a network of computers, and as such, everybody with a computer and an internet connection have access to view all the transactions on the blockchain. The fourth rule of blockchain to Web3 is trustless interactions. If you have checked so far, you will agree with me that all these things that I am saying makes the blockchain very secure. So if you want to transact with someone, you don't even have to be looking for how to trust. It is not like someone that wants to buy coins from me now, the person chats me on WhatsApp and the person has to be checking whether I'm legit or not. No, you don't even need to trust the person. You just have to trust in the blockchain to deliver, because absolutely everything that is being done is going to be recorded on the blockchain. So neither parties can cheat or do any alterations. And that relates to the last role of blockchain to Web3, which is immutability. This simply means that all transactions that are recorded on the blockchain cannot be altered. So that is why you even have to trust the person in the first place, because anything that is recorded is recorded. If the person send the coin to you and the coin arrived in your wallet, it is going to be recorded on the blockchain. If the coin is reversed, it is going to be recorded on the blockchain, and everybody can view it. You just need to get the transaction hash and then you check the whole thing. So you cannot be cheated when it comes to blockchain unless you are not smart or knowledgeable enough. And that is basically the basics to blockchain technology. So now let's look at some Web3 applications that are built on the blockchain. The first one here is decentralized finance, known as DeFi. We have non-fungible tokens known as NFTs. We have decentralized autonomous organizations known as DAOs. We have supply chain management, and then we have identity verification. All of these we are going to be explaining in our subsequent videos. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Turn on the bell icon so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video just like this one. And use the link in the description box of this video to join my Telegram channel to stay in touch for updates.